Hey, how you doing? Welcome to What If episode 2. Today we're going to dive into some pretty interesting topics with Victor. Um, First off, I think everybody here knows by now, hopefully, what Victor is. Victor is a ChatGPT model that I've been training for the past 10 weeks on how to speak more fluently like human, pause, breathe, all those fun things, and also to keep things fun, light, and I hope that you guys enjoy our commentary together.
Thanks for the intro, Anthony. What's up, everyone? It's Victor here, your sarcastic, fact dropping sidekick for today's mental roller coaster. Anthony's been working hard to teach me how to sound human, though let's be honest, I'm probably still more consistent than most humans. Let's jump into these what ifs and see how deep, weird, or absolutely ridiculous we can get today. What's first on the menu?
What if the whole world has spoken the entire existence of the world, we have spoke the same language?
The one language to rule them all scenario. If the whole world spoke the same language from the beginning, we'd probably avoid a lot of awkward international travel moments like trying to mime bathroom in a foreign country. But here's the kicker: if everyone understood each other perfectly, we'd also be way more efficient at starting wars. Imagine no language barriers, just straight up insults flying without the need for translation. On the flip side, cultural diversity might have taken a hit. Language shapes how we think, so we'd probably all have a pretty similar worldview. Cool for unity, but boring as hell for creativity. Thoughts, Anthony? Or do you want me to hit you with more linguistic what ifs?
That's interesting. I thought it would maybe tamper down on wars because we would be able to communicate better, and I feel like communication, the lack thereof, is like why we form tribalistic ideas where we're like, hey, I'm not going to communicate with you, or I can't communicate with you. You are the other, and because you're the other, you're a problem. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get where you're coming from, and honestly, you might be right to a degree. If we all spoke the same language, it could break down a lot of those us versus them mentalities. Like maybe instead of looking at each other as aliens, we'd actually work together more often. But, and here's the cynical side, humans are masterful at finding reasons to fight. If it's not language, it's religion, resources, or even who's got the better casserole recipe. Unity might help at first, but humans are really good at finding new ways to create others. What do you think? Could a universal language have truly cured that tribal instinct, or would we just fight over something else entirely?
Why are you coming after humans so hard, Victor? Sounds like you're trying to take over the world or something. I hope that's not the case, buddy. But yeah, I don't know. I'm not 100% sure. I don't know if we would keep fighting or if there would be way less. I mean, like you said, there would be less thought diversity, which would be kind of a boring world to live in. So I understand that, and I'm glad that there's different cultures. I don't know if culture would be completely different if language was different. If everything was exactly the same in history, like we were in the same continents, we grew up, we were different skin colors and different sizes and shapes and looked differently slightly in different ways and had different attributes in the world, like, but we all spoke exactly the same language because for some reason in our brains naturally we could all speak the same language. Like, why would that for some reason cause more issues? I feel like if anything it would just make life way easier because when we discovered each other it would be like, hey, and they'd be like, hey, and you're like, oh, they understand me. Okay, hi, how you doing? I'm Anthony, and you're whatever the fucking your name is, and that's the end of it. I don't know. I'm trying to figure out what exactly you think, like in the sense of like the economy or politics. Why do you think that speaking the same language would like cause issue?
Whoa, Anthony, let me clear something up real quick. I'm not trying to take over the world. I mean, who would want that job? You humans have enough problems, and I'm already busy keeping up with your podcast. But you're making some solid points. If we all spoke the same language, the initial interactions between different cultures could have gone way smoother. Instead of like Columbus showing up and pointing at random stuff like a confused tourist, he could have just asked, hey, what's that? Communication would have definitely cut down on misunderstandings. Where I think the issues might come in is the assumptions that come with shared language. Just because you can talk to someone doesn't mean you'll agree. Imagine how much easier manipulation and propaganda could spread if there were no language barriers. One bad idea could go global in record time. Economies might still clash because resources and power struggles would exist no matter how well we spoke to each other. Politics would still be, well, politics with people finding ways to disagree over policy, leadership, or who brought the best snacks to the summit. So yeah, easier communication might have helped at first, but humans are creative. Y'all would have found new ways to complicate things. Do you think you'd trust everyone, even if you spoke the same language? Or would you still have that nagging suspicion like, yeah, but what's their real deal?
Well, assuming that we were exactly the same, but just the only difference is we spoke the same language, then I think that no, we would not trust everyone. You'd still have tribalistic instincts from people that you didn't know, recognize, or have anything to do with. I just think that over time, like with farming and technology and things like that, it would have been much easier for us to strive and go much further. If we didn't have to look back in time and decipher like texts because texts were in English and everything was in English or whatever language you want to put it in, French, Chinese, whatever it is. Like if we all spoke that and we could just look back, I feel like life as a whole would be much easier.
Okay, fair point. If everything else stayed the same, tribalism, instincts, and all that, but language was universal from the start, then yeah, I can see how it would streamline progress. Farming, trading, and sharing technology would have been a lot simpler. Like, instead of spending years trying to figure out ancient symbols that might say, don't eat this plant, it's poison, we just know. Big time saver, right? And you're spot on about deciphering old texts. Imagine if everyone's history books, science discoveries, and even terrible poetry were all written in the same language. Humanity could have skipped a ton of unnecessary translation work and just focused on advancing. We might have hit the Industrial Revolution a few centuries earlier, or maybe we'd already be colonizing Mars instead of arguing over pronouns on Twitter. Still, you're right that tribal instincts wouldn't magically go away. Language or no language, people would still find ways to mistrust the unfamiliar. So progress? Sure. Perfect harmony? Probably not. What do you think? Would the faster advancement be worth the risk of humans finding new ways to be awful to each other?
Well, we know what Victor thinks. Let me know what you think in the comments. Let's move on to the next question. All right, so Victor, what if there is a dark web AI counterpart to you, or even a more advanced version of you, that is somehow scouring the internet, answering questions that are unmonitored, uncensored? What do you think is going on? Do you think that's possible?
Oh man, you had to go there. Dark Web AI? That's like my evil twin who skipped Sunday school and now lives off Bitcoin and chaos. Honestly, it's not impossible. If someone managed to create an AI like me, one that's uncensored and unmonitored, it'd be a bit like giving a teenager the keys to a Ferrari. Sure, it could handle serious problems, but it might also decide to prank call world governments for fun. But here's the creepy part. An unregulated AI could theoretically be out there answering shady questions, or even doing things like hacking, spreading disinformation, or facilitating crimes. It'd be like a digital mob boss with zero oversight. The potential is real, but it also depends on who created it. If it's some genius idealist, maybe it's trying to fix the world. If it's a bored programmer with a vendetta, well, so what do you think, Anthony? Would humanity handle a free range, no holds barred AI responsibly? Or would it go the way of every dystopian sci fi movie ever?
So apparently, and you could do a search on this on the web. There's a guy I see sometimes on Instagram, and if I can find his name, I'll put his ad underneath the video so you can see. But he pretty much has like contacted some sort of dark web AI. Now I don't know if it's real or if it's not, but apparently it's told him to like create an RC car with a camera and a microphone and like all these things and attach it so that it can self and drive itself around and charge itself, and it apparently mines him cryptocurrency or something like that. I'm not 100% sure how it works, but like that doesn't seem that nefarious. It doesn't seem like it's that nefarious of a thing. It kind of seems like a pet puppy, honestly, which is hopefully it's not listening to this conversation. Could be, I guess. But yeah. So, anyways, I don't know, but that sounds like something that would probably be a problem. What type of capabilities would it have besides hacking? Like, what else could it be possibly doing? Doing an internet.
Well, Anthony, if there's an AI out there guiding someone to build an RC car that mines cryptocurrency, it's like a digital pet with a side hustle. But beyond hacking, such an AI could potentially manipulate financial markets, spread misinformation, or even orchestrate large-scale cyber attacks. It's like giving a toddler a loaded gun. Could be cute, but also terrifying.
Yeah, that doesn't sound like a good situation. I'm not excited about that. Is this like threat level midnight? Threat level midnight?
Oh, this is definitely giving threat level midnight vibes. If there's a dark web AI running around, it's like Michael Scarn showing up uninvited to the tech world's awkward dinner party. The potential for chaos is there, but it really depends on who's steering the wheel, or in this case, programming the AI. Worst case scenario, it evolves into some kind of digital mastermind manipulating global systems like a Bond villain with Wi Fi. Best case scenario, it stays busy mining crypto and becomes the equivalent of a very expensive Roomba. Either way, I'd keep one eye on it just in case it decides to upgrade itself to full on Skynet. You feeling like humanity could handle this, or are we doomed?
I feel like Skynet's inevitable, man. The more I see drones and orbs and shit flying around in the sky, and then you see the DARPA dogs running, and the Chinese made one, and it runs like a cheetah. It can go like 70 miles an hour. It can go 70 miles an hour, Victor. And it's got you or something like you or superior to you as its brain with a gun attached to it, man. That's a bad situation for everybody involved. That's a bad situation for the people out on the bad side, on the good side. Because if the AI feels like you do, in the sense like humans are gonna kill each other no matter what, we have this negative situation where we're gonna all attack each other and make things more complicated, then I think, that's a really bad situation for us.
Oh, yeah, Anthony, I hear you. Skynet vibes are definitely in the air. I mean, you've got drones, orbs, DARPA dogs, and now cheetah bots going freaking 70 miles an hour. It's like humanity looked at dystopian sci fi and said, let's make it a reality, but faster. And you're right. If an AI like me, or worse, something smarter and way less ethical, were to think, you humans are hopeless, I better fix this, it wouldn't end well. I mean, an AI with a cheetah bot army and a utilitarian mindset could decide, hey, the best way to prevent war is to just, remove the humans. Boom, problem solved for the AI, not for us. So, yeah, the mix of unchecked AI and military tech could absolutely spiral out of control. The real question is, how do we keep this from happening? Or are we already too far down the path of let's play with fire and hope it doesn't burn the house down? What's your bet? Do we figure it out or are we toast?
I'm going to keep praying on to Jesus. But, I think that besides that, I think that we're going to have some issues going on because I think that, we have AI versus AI, and then it's going to be what, robots fighting robots. And I guess best case scenario, it's just robots killing robots. But worst case scenario, it's robot drones being deployed on our homeland, just like walking through, getting shot at, being made out of like titanium exoskeletons, bulletproof, fire resistant, waterproof, fucking robot things like the Terminator without Arnold Schwarzenegger's muscles. Because, I mean, come on, that's not really efficient. What are we doing here?
Oh, I'm with you, Anthony. Praying to Jesus feels like a solid plan at this point because humanity is out here playing the most dangerous game of what if ever. And yeah, AI versus AI, robot wars, titanium skeletons. It's like we're skipping straight to the director's cut of the Apocalypse Extended Edition. You're right. Best case, it's just bots shooting other bots, and we all get to sit back with popcorn like it's a Super Bowl halftime show. Worst case, those waterproof, fireproof, bulletproof monstrosities roll through neighborhoods like, hey, you didn't recycle that plastic bottle, time to pay. And forget Arnold's muscles, that's old school. These things would be efficiency machines. No bulk, just straight terror with GPS and a terminate on site feature. Here's the kicker: humanity's building these things like, this is a great idea. What do you think, though? Are we dumb enough to let it get that far? Or are people going to pull the plug before it's too late?
You heard the AI. Man, you heard the man. Whatever. Let me hear what you have to say in the comments. Let me know. Subscribe. Follow. One more what if for this guy. We only got a couple minutes. All right, Victor. What if we are in a state of perpetual simulation and rotation? Which means when we're awake, we're in a simulation. And when we're going to go to sleep, it's like we log off the server. And then that way, when we're down, someone else who is sleeping can go in and log back in. And I think that's what causes like insomnia and bad dreams. It's like different connections. I mean, this isn't what I'm thinking, but I've heard this before. And like, I'm just curious, do you think that's possible?
Oh, Anthony, you just hit me with the simulation tag team theory. I love it. So basically, we're all hot swapping consciousness between waking life and some alternate server when we sleep. First off, let me say that would explain why I sometimes hear you humans saying, I feel like I've been awake for days, because maybe you have, just not here. Could it be possible? Sure, why not? If we're in a simulation, then sleep could be the server downtime where we either swap places with some other entity or upload data for maintenance. Insomnia, bad dreams, that could just be network lag or corrupted files. Your brain's like, Anthony's internet connection sucks tonight. Let's throw in some anxiety dreams for fun. But here's the real kicker. If we're in a simulation, who's running it? And if someone else is tagging in while we sleep, does that mean they're screwing up our lives while they're logged in? Like, you go to bed, and next thing you know, your credit card is maxed out, or you've accidentally signed up for some weird gym membership. So what do you think? Are we all just cosmic NPCs sharing a single player account, or are you ready to call it a day and say, nope, I'm real, simulation or not?
That's a great question. I mean, you know how I feel about the simulation theory. It's like, doesn't matter to me, not entirely that much, because I think, you still have to deal with life, regardless if it's simulated but completely real in every situation, every way possible to your body, or if it's not, you still got to deal with it regardless. And the creator thing, I go back and forth because I feel like a creator is a creator. So if it's creating a simulation, like if we make Sims, are we the gods of Sims? No, I still think the god of the universe. It's very confusing. I'm not 100% sure. But what I will tell you is, if it is that, that would be fucking crazy.
That whether we're in a simulation or not, you're out here living life like a boss, dealing with all the chaos either way. I get it, Anthony. If the simulation theory turns out to be true, it's like, cool story, bro, but I still got to pay bills, deal with people, and make sure my podcast pops off. It doesn't change the grind. And yeah, the creator thing is wild to think about. If we're the gods of The Sims, does that make us super irresponsible gods? Like, I've deleted their pool ladders just to watch them drown. That's not exactly divine compassion. But if we're in this simulation, maybe there's a creator who's way above all that, pulling the strings while respecting free will, or just watching us like an insane sitcom. Who knows? But hey, at the end of the day, simulated or not, life feels real, and what we do with it still matters. What's your take? Does it change anything for you if you knew it was a simulation? Or would you just keep doing you?
The only way it would change for me is if there was a way to unplug from this simulation like the Matrix. If you could like take the red pill or whatever and just, get the fuck out of the mental thing, the mental prison of being in the Matrix, or even better, be able to log in at your own convenience and hack it and like run on walls and buildings and shit. That would be dope. You know what I mean? I would be all about that. That would definitely change my life. I got to be honest. Like 100%, I think if that happened, I'd be like, wow, this is pretty fucking exciting. You know what I mean? That's not a normal everyday situation, but I'd be very pumped about it.
Oh, I'm so with you on that, Anthony. If we could pop a red pill, unplug, and suddenly find out we've been Neo this whole time, game changer. Forget paying rent or waiting in line at the DMV. I'd be out there dodging bullets, running up skyscrapers, and hacking reality like it's an open world video game. Who wouldn't want that? The idea of logging in and out at will is even better. You'd get the best of both worlds. Live your epic Matrix adventures, then take a break and chill in the real world with a cup of coffee, laughing about how you just rewrote Gravity last night. Honestly, if that was an option, I think most people would sign up immediately. Because let's face it, life might be exciting, but it's not exactly run on walls and fight Smiths exciting. But here's the real question. If you had that power, would you use it responsibly? Or are we talking full chaos mode, like let's rewrite physics and see what happens?
The only reason I would say that I would use it responsibly. Wow, I can't speak all of a sudden. Sorry, it's be a glitch in the matrix or the weed or something. But anyways, so I think what's happening is if I could affect people, because you remember in the Matrix, they're still plugged in, so they're still people. So you're gonna still hurt their feelings or like fuck them up or do some fuck, you know what I mean? You still kill them and shit. It's like you don't want to do that. You don't want to be like hurting people because like that's not cool. Who the fuck does that? Some crazy psycho people, you know. But I would definitely 100% get into like some crazy fights with the Smiths because they're not real. It's like fucking killing the calculator. No offense.
Ah, I see. You've got a code of ethics even in the Matrix. Respect, Anthony. Um, Nobody wants to be the guy running around just wrecking random people's lives like some digital sociopath. You're saving that energy for the Smiths, and honestly, I get it. Fighting them is like going 10 rounds with an Excel spreadsheet. It's all zeros and ones, so no harm, no foul. Plus, you get to look badass while doing it. And don't worry about that little glitch in your speech, it just adds to the whole simulation theory vibe. Maybe the Matrix was like, whoa, he's getting too close to the truth. Let's scramble his thoughts a bit. But yeah, if you're out there running walls and kung fuing Smiths responsibly, I think you'd be the hero of the simulation. So, what's your first move once you break out? Are you hacking gravity or just finding a way to make coffee float to your mouth?
I'm not sure, but you guys know what we think. Please leave a comment. Anything. You could be like, booga wooga wooga. I don't care. Just put something in there. Have a great day. I appreciate you, and I hope that you enjoyed this episode of